Welcome to Turning Inward. Our intention today is to open your heart and nurture your spirit as you travel on the road without miles, moving inward on your epic and personal journey of self-discovery. I am Rebecca Polvey, your co-host, and I'm here with Dr. Vivian Carrasco. This is the 4th episode of our winter 2015 season. We are excited to continue to share concepts from Love.Being.Human with you and grateful that you are here with us. Today, we will be exploring the concept of forgiveness together.
This podcast offers you the opportunity to explore new perspectives through compelling interviews with beautiful human beings and words of wisdom and love. This show was created to guide and inspire you. If you're looking for more meaning in your day-to-day life, if you're looking to be wowed by everyday people, if you're on a journey to joy, peace of mind, freedom, or a wild new adventure, then honey, you are in the right place. Welcome to Turning Inward with Dr. Vivian.
Hi, Rebecca.
Hello, Vivian. How are you today?
I'm good. Thank you so much.
Oh, great. Good. Well, I'm excited to talk about forgiveness today. And I've got several questions to ask you. And I thought I'd start off with something like this. How does not being able to forgive impact a person?
I'm not excited about talking about forgiveness. I know we tried to relax before we started recording, but it's such a critical process for us. So, I know that we got to do it. And when we don't, your question is what happens when we don't? We harden our hearts. We're not in our lives like we should be because we're carrying around, thoughts. We're carrying around suffering from whatever that doesn't allow us to move through our lives. So that's my short answer.
That's great. I was thinking to myself, like, I think this mirrors what you said. I feel like if you're mired in hurt, it just doesn't allow space for growth or movement. Movement, that was another one of our previous topics. And if you're holding some kind of anger in, it blocks you from opening up and from moving forward in a positive way. So I was thinking about it. I'm think of forgiveness as love, because forgiveness to me is kindness and kindness is love.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah.
I wasn't coming from that space at all. I was coming from a space of pain. And I like your idea or your thought about the seed. Because here's where I'm going with this. Pain happens. Forgiveness is allowing the seed of that pain to grow into the promise of what it's there for, of the self growth, of the edge, of nurturing that seed into its intention. Yeah.
Yeah. That's what else I thought of, because in the beginning I was struggling a little bit with forgiveness. And I thought, I wonder if we could think of being forgiving as kind of like being brought out of the darkness and into the sunlight, and how instead of being mired in the past hurts, that you set yourself on a path of being positive and not being so focused on the past or even present hurts. And I know I struggle with that. And, perhaps if you've decided that, you can never forgive, then you kind of block yourself in a little corner somewhere.
Yeah, you harden your heart.
Yeah, exactly. You harden your heart.
I made a note for today, and what it says is, that happiness is wonderful and happiness is fine, but happiness doesn't take us down the same path that pain does. But I think our work in forgiveness is to take all those things together and to integrate them back into ourselves.
Well, Vivian, and I was thinking about something else. I want to ask you this question because before, when we were going to record, we recorded trust, and then we wanted to do trust and forgiveness back to back, and then we just didn't have a chance. Things didn't work out that way. And I'm just wondering, do you think this previous discussion, trust, how do they fit together in Love.Being.Human, the journey or experience?
Well, we trust our lives as our teacher, basically. Within Love.Being.Human, it's that shift of moving from an outward reaching in perspective to an inward reaching out perspective. And so we don't move through or between each other. We don't allow that flexibility if there is not a letting go, a dropping of whatever pain or hurt happened, and then moving us into forgiveness. Forgiving teaches us. I went back to, I guess because I was coming from this angle, I went back to one of my personal recordings of Love.Being.Human, and how afraid I was of it. And at times, honestly, just angry. I was like, why is this happening? I'm fine. I'm comfortable. This is pushing me out of my comfort zone. I don't want to teach. I was just whining. That's what I was doing. I was whining. I was given this gift and I'm whining about it. So I went back to it because I wanted to reconnect to what it originally was and tell myself the story again. And what I wrote down was, this is just a process for us to allow our growth to happen. There's nothing for us to do. So looking at forgiveness as something that has to be done is really just a distraction from the truth. It's a dropping. It's letting go of whatever distraction or whatever frustration is in front of you. We allow ourselves to be fully integrated in the wholeness of our being when we let things drop away. And that's how I saw forgiveness. And trust is just that same thing, trusting that our life is our teacher. Not a guru, not someone who we think is smart or knows better, just our lives. Our lives are our teachers. My teacher is my life. Your teacher is your life. Your teacher is your life. And seeing that teacher, if it's pain, it's pain. What does that pain mean to you? What is that pain saying to you? And developing a sense of intimacy with our suffering. I think the other reason I was coming at it at a different angle than you is because my practice has been to distance myself from my pain, to push the pain away, to distract myself from the pain, to avert my eyes from the pain. And that's not really the path through. The path through the pain is to become intimate with your own suffering and to understand it and to bring your awareness to it. No one can do that for anyone. We do it for ourselves, and it's our own work.
Oh, it's so beautiful. It's like I hear you saying it just takes courage. It takes courage maybe to try to learn to trust the process. That maybe if you give forgiveness a chance, it really might turn out more than okay.
Oh, it will always turn out more than okay. How many things? I was thinking about this, and I'm so glad you brought that up. I don't know that I haven't had something happen that at the moment I thought was painful, that I haven't looked back and said, that thing allowed me to become who I am now. Mm. And so, although I don't want to go through that thing again or ever have that thing happen again, I see who I am as a better being than I was then. And honestly, for me, the forgiveness hasn't been about that other person. That forgiveness has always been within myself. I have a harder time forgiving myself than I do forgiving someone else. And so that's why maybe this talk felt so much heavier, because it's so close to me and my own difficulty in doing it for myself.
And that makes me think about, when you say that, I think about the impact of forgiveness then. I started thinking about if you forgive or don't forgive, that can be thought of on a lot of different ways, like, for example, spiritual, physical, or emotional health. And so I'm thinking that if you are forgiving, that could help you in a very positive way on all these levels.
Definitely. I mean, like I said, it is a dropping of whatever distraction.
What if you think of it as, could you think of it as building blocks almost, like you're building on the future? And you forgive the something that's happened in the past, but you think of it as a movement or building on your future.
Yeah. It's the promise of growth in the seed. Forgiveness is when you've moved past the pain and you see the seed of your own self-awareness and your own promise of growth. The other thing about forgiveness is that it is a movement out of your mind and your intellect. You mentioned on these different levels, and it's really taking you deeper into your heart and allowing you to see something with true clarity. Because I think the only, seeing what we see through our eyes, is veiled. There's so many filters in what comes through our eyes and comes out of our mouths and what comes in and out of our ears. But when we filter something through our heart, then I think it has true clarity. I think any other time, it's just heavy. It's just heavy with all kinds of story and meaning that we lay over it.
Well, I'm not sure how this fits. It popped into my head, so I'll just say it. I was thinking maybe it's more difficult to forgive some things and not others. Or if you could consider to forgive the person, but maybe not the act. I don't know if that, or if the person didn't know they hurt you. Maybe that's easier to forgive rather than something done deliberate. I was just thinking about all kinds of things about forgiveness, and that popped into my head.
What comes to mind when you say that is honestly that if someone is causing pain, then they're not awake or aware of what they're doing. It's like their pain is mirroring and being pushed out into the world. So I think where I'm going with what you said is a person in their essence wouldn't do that. And so that person is mired down in pain. So you forgive because you are seeing that essence of that person. You're not seeing that statue. You're not holding on to that static, inflexible image of that being. You're actually connecting to where maybe they are hurt and angry and all these other things that are around them. Now you don't go near them because they bite, you protect yourself and keep your boundaries from them, but you see them in their essence, and that is that they're in pain. And so, we move out of ourselves and into, that's empathy. That's what you just said is empathy. You know that wouldn't happen if they were whole.
Well, Vivian, I've got another question for you. How would you say forgiveness fits into the Love.Being.Human experience?
Well, I'd say that it's your work. It's taking the different parts of your own life and integrating them back into yourself so that, like I said earlier, you become more whole. It is, in infinity symbol that we use a lot. Forgiveness is what allows you to drop the distractions and the frustrations. Forgiveness is what allows you to just let that seed of growth grow. So that's how it fits into Love Being Human. It is what takes away all the obstacles to your own growth.
Well, I have one last question to ask today, Vivian, and that's, I saw a little note, and I understand that you're working on a book, and I was wondering if you would just share with us a little bit about what it's going to be about.
You're so astute. I was like, Rebecca, why are you bringing that up? But you're so wonderful.
Thank you.
The languaging of Love Being Human through the podcast is a wonderful first step. It's a liberating, it's a freeing first step to bringing this imaginary thing into form. But the next thing is to make it physical. This audio is physical. And for me, my one of my loves is holding a book and reading it. And so I want the next thing that we create to be a physical, or electronically physical, to bring this voice into words. And what it'll be is this integration concept, this idea that when we take the intellect and we marry that and we integrate it with the wisdom that comes from our heart, and then also fuse into it, this instinct that is in our gut, that is part of our humanness, this natural evolution, like a seed turns into, what it's intended to be. That's what it'll be about. It is the next evolution of Love Being Human in a physical form, from this audio and from our words into a story that can take people through what it means. And I'm excited. I'm just excited. It's so exciting.
It is. And thank you, Vivian. I really have enjoyed our conversation on forgiveness today. And we thank our audience so much for being with us here today. And if you enjoyed the conversation, we invite you to connect with us by joining our inner circle at viviancarrasco.com. And I'm going to close today with one of Vivian's quotes. Remember, move with purpose, and take inspired action.
Thank you, Rebecca. And I just want to add a couple of words to that for our listeners. If you don't jump over to the website, that's okay. You're listening to the conversation, and we're instigating it. We're beginning this conversion. But the intention and the learning that is going to happen is going to be inside of you, and it is a learning that you live directly. One of the things that I understand is that I am not the teacher. I am alongside you as the learner. You are your own best teacher, and your learning is going to come from your own experience. So if you don't join us now, take this conversation and then move it through your own life and your own experience, and allow it to soften your heart, and maybe to touch you in silence and touch you in stillness, and then also just to accept the warmness of our breath, and that we're here together right now without any movement, without any doing, without any next thing. So I just felt a need to add that. Thank you, Rebecca.
Oh, thank you, Vivian.
Thank you for joining us today here on Turning Inward with Dr. Vivian. If the show moved the needle for you, please leave an honest review in iTunes. And also make sure you cruise on over to viviancarrasco.com and join us for personal strategies and tips to help you move forward. Ciao, baby.